So now we are going to work a bit more on attaching different file types to our Rails application. Now, here we have the form of a new course open, and we can upload an avatar, and we can have a rich text area where we can upload different kinds of files. Now, for the needs of our application, we are not going to permit any direct uploads like this to our application. We are only going to use the rich text area for actually editing text, not for uploads. So for this, we are going to our tricks editor overrides that we created previously. And here we are going to blacklist all the file attachments, so that we are not going to permit any file attachments to our tricks editor in this application. Now we refresh. You see it was recompiling the JavaScript files. And now let's try attaching something. Here is some kind of file, and file attachment is not supported. Okay, now going back to the avatar, let's go to course RB, and here we see that we had some validation for the avatar, that it has to be attached and content type, size, whatever. Now this validation was done by the gem active storage validations, but here is something else that we can do. So here we can use the regular Rails validation for the presence of an avatar. So we can write validates avatar presence true. Now to check if it works, we can comment the other validation, refresh, and here we see that we get a mark that the avatar has to be present. Let's try pressing create course, and it still gives us avatar can't be blank. So this validation passes. Now going back to our form, here we are using a file field for the avatar, and we are also using an error field. Now, if we are using simple form, instead we can just have an input field. So f.input avatar. Let's try. Now we'll go back to teach, create course, and here we have two avatar fields. Let's press create course, and you see that we get two validations. So the first validation error is from the field that we created here, and the second validation error is from simple form. Now we're going to try using only simple form. So we will comment this out, and this label. Let's try. I will go back to the form. So we have an avatar field. Let's press create course. Now avatar cannot be blank. Let's put some kind of title. A description, a short description without an avatar. Okay, now let's add some kind of avatar. We will try adding a video and create course. So the course was created, and we did manage to upload the video. And it's kind of wrong. We shouldn't be able to upload a video. So we would go back to our course RB and rework our validations. So we have this other validation here, and we are just going to basically copy it. So we're going to have the content type, the size validation, everything is going to be the same. Now it will be like this. We will uncomment this, comma, and we'll see if it works. So we'll refresh our course, we'll go to edit. Let's try update course, and an avatar has an invalid content type. And you see that we already had an previously uploaded avatar, and now the validation tells us that it has an invalid content type and the size should be smaller. So let's try choosing a file that would be actually valid. And you see it works. Now going back to edit, we can see the image as previously. So it works. And here we basically changed the validation from attached true to present true. It's basically the same, but this attached true validation is provided by the gem active storage validations, and the presence true is provided by Rails. Now we still keep using the content type validation and the size validation provided by our gem. And here in our form, instead of having 3 fields, one for the label of the avatar, the second for the file field of the avatar, and the third for the error for the avatar, we are just going to have one simple form field, input avatar. So it will be a bit more clean. Now going back to our course model, we can work some more on our validations. So the description, basically the text that must sell the course, it has minimum 5 characters, well, it has to be present, and we are also going to give it a maximum. So let's make it a maximum of, let's say, 3,000 characters, and minimum of, well, for now let it be 5 characters. Let's see if it works. So we'll just increase the size of the description and try saving. And here we get this validation that the maximum is 3,000 characters and it is too long. Now, an important thing with working with the size of the rich text field is basically the size. What do we want to count as the size? The quantity of characters or the size of HTML? Because in HTML, basically, we use a bold class and italics class, and the size of all the characters is not 7, but it would be around 15. So in basically, the field gets saved as HTML, and here it is reduced as text that is comfortable for the human eye. An emoji, for example, also doesn't cost just 1 character, it can cost a few characters. Let's try. We input only an emoji and say that the maximum is, let's say, 1 character. Okay, we update. And it says that it is too long because an emoji costs more than 1 character. In any case, going back to the course.rb, we are going to leave it as it was previously for now. So maximum or minimum 5 without a specified maximum. So that's fine. Another validation that we'll actually add is the length of the title. So we're not going to permit super long titles. It's going to be, let's say, 70 characters. And one more thing that would be good to validate is the price. So the price can be either 0 or more than 0. The price cannot be less than 0. So at the moment it can be, for example, -3, and it totally doesn't make any sense. So we're going to write validates price greater than or equal to 0. So it is a standard validation. We can validate either greater than or equal to or less than or equal to or other than. So for example, if we want to have anything except of 0, we would validate other than. So greater than or equal to 0. And now let's check if this validation works. Okay, I made some mistake. So going back to the documentation, we see that it has to be nested inside numerically. So we will make it. So numerically greater than or equal to 0. Okay, let's see if it works. And we get this validation error. So it has to be at least 0. Let's try 0. It works. Let's try 3. It works. Let's try -15. And we get the error. So this validation works correctly. So now we're going to also make some additional validations for our lesson model. So here we have that we validate that the title is present, content is present, and it belongs to a course. Now we'll also validate the length of the title so that the lesson title isn't too long. Let it also be 70 characters for now. So we are done with validations for now, and I think that they are really important not to let the user mess up things in the application. Thank you.